Lads, we're back.
We're still here.
We are.
Hey,
Hello.
unlike England at the World Cup.
Oh no.
Listen, I'm not gonna
Uh,
say anything. I'll wait till like next episode to make a comment.
I uh
I don't want to rub it in.
I have
It's
a
not
listener
fair.
of the show who mentioned him before, Gus Galloway, always in my Twitter DMs. Nice kid. Um and Obviously he was one of many people texting me as the game was going on, especially during that second Harry Kane penalty shot, whatever they exactly call it in soccer.
Yeah.
And I didn't respond to him because I was heartbroken and I was hearing it from Mike from our other group chat. And
Good old Mike.
I just I may never forgive him. That's like if Cole Caulfield missed one. That's how much, in the little I know about soccer, how much I love Harry Kane. He's my guy, and he just sort of. It's like it's to the French too. It's to the French too. Before we really go to hockey, there is a question that was posed to me by young Gus Galloway that I want to bring him to the show because I thought it was a really interesting question. So
Is it?
obviously, in the world of, go ahead.
No. Never mind. Never mind. Move on.
So obviously, in the world of hockey, nothing makes us more angry than deciding a game in a shootout. So why is it in the world of soccer or football, whatever? I don't get into the debate if you want. Um, why is it so much sort of more like we're going to penalty kicks, here we go, instead of hockey when we just sort of groan when we go, especially because the
Um.
World Cup is so much, it's the pinnacle. If we had the Stanley Cup decided in a shootout, I think we
Yeah.
would
Oh my
stop
gosh,
watching.
yeah.
So the
That's
question
definitely interesting.
was that he asked me, why is that?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, like there have been World Cups decided um by penalty kicks. 2006 being the most recent one, Italy beating France. I don't know why. I I don't know. Like I just That's a great question. I don't have an answer to it. It's a good point though, because like when in hockey, I'm like, yeah, like the shootout's dumb, but I think with for some reason in soccer, it feels like there's a lot more pressure in that moment than there is in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I don't know
Running.
how I don't know any other way to describe it in terms of like if if we saw a shootout in the Stanley Cup final, I feel like the it would be very different than what we've seen over the last couple of weeks at the World Cup. I don't know how else. Like, there's a feeling to it. That would be my answer. I don't agree with it. I know I do agree with it. Like, sitting and watching the Argentina Netherlands game and like going to shootout, and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. But I feel like watching a shootout in hockey just doesn't give me the same emotion.
I think
I have a
two.
theory, but Daniel, I
Okay.
want to hear from you first. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Thank you. Two things. I don't know. I always thought, and I'm not a soccer expert, soccer expert in any way, but I always thought it was like the running or the endurance of the players. That's like, can you imagine if it went continuous OT and they're just running
Yeah,
back and forth for
and
another 90 minutes?
obviously like the amount of substitutions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's the sport itself is a little bit different than hockey,
Yeah.
obviously.
I think the second thing is, I mean, in the Olympics, I mean, we haven't seen it in a while, but in the Olympics, there's been shootouts in like high stress games. I always think of like 1998. That's how Canada got eliminated.
Also, Sochi and TJ Oshie sort of legacies
Yeah.
part of that. So what I thought of, and he really asked the thing of intensity, right? What I thought, and you felt this, especially in both of Harry Kane's attempts, and especially when Messi was going for Argentina, right? In his penalty. Is in the shootout, the last 2 years we've seen is Evgeny Kuznetsov take these slow as a snail leading up, like that are kind of boring, right? I also don't think that it helps. You talk about endurance, Daniel, and the players kind of being dead by the end of it. 3-on-3 is so fun and high paced. Sometimes it feels like the shootout is sort of, you know, a letdown. And I think the shootout has taken even more of a hit reputation wise since 3-on-3 game. Also, it feels like the shootout, obviously, it's kind of recent. It's not super recent, but I think it's been in the game most of our lifetime, but it's still kind of new. I also sort of think it's a thing of like in soccer, it's the one moment, it's that one kick. There
Mhm.
isn't the sort of slow wind up. What's the move going to be? It's
No,
that one snap moment where the intensity is at its highest. You know, that's at least my theory. Just it's
yeah,
weird you think in the sort of the world of hockey, the shootout should be better, but it's I thought it was a really good question.
it was. So, um, fun fact, like in the MLS years ago, they used to have these shootouts, where it was very similar to the ones in hockey where you get to run up with the ball. And it's wild to watch because it's the most not soccer thing. Like it's
Yeah.
just that's never gonna happen. And obviously that's still not a thing, clearly, as you can like clearly that's how much they loved it. But they used to have it in soccer where you can run up with the ball in a similar situation like hockey, but obviously that's not a thing anymore. And you like watching that compared to, like watching other penalty kicks or shootouts, it doesn't have that same intensity. I think that's what it comes down to as well.
Was I watching something else where I don't know what it is, but your goalie becomes like a forward too, right? Or
What do you
something?
mean?
There was like a
Your
rule
goalie
there.
can come like
Yeah.
at a lot of the times if you're down by a goal, let's say you're in the 90th minute and you're taking a corner or some type of free kick, sometimes the goalie will run up and be a part of the play. So you have
Okay,
it's
okay.
like the extra man.
Hockey
But
should
then the
have that.
goalie does have to run back the whole X amount of
Yeah,
yards. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like it's a hell of a run back, that's for sure.
All right. Well, I thought it was a fun way to open the show, lads. I thought it was a fun
Yeah.
way to open the show. What do we have on the docket here? We're going to talk about the Habs and the Kings game. My God, not going to be a fun conversation. Leafs and the Flames game, some 2018 draft stuff that Danny wanted to talk about, and a bit about the Kings game, but not too much about the game itself. I want to talk about two sort of moments from the game and then some conversation about Mitch Martin because the point streak is still going. And then other beside that, we're going to talk about World Junior stuff. 32 Thoughts had a bit of Gubs on it. McDavid is amazing. Tage Thompson is amazing. But I wanted to start the show, lads, as I'm just going to quickly get something up on Twitter because we always go on about these, and we've had this exact conversation a few different times here, but I think it's always important to bring it back, gentlemen, because the old men are still kicking in the world of the NHL, specifically Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. Alex Ovechkin, 16 on the year. He's at 796 goals, 5 away from Gordie Howe, less than 100 away from Wayne Gretzky, 98 away from tying 99. It just
That's
never
yeah.
stops being fun.
No, and I for whatever reason, like the record seems so far away, but then when you put it into perspective of he's 99 goals away and he's also Alexander Ovechkin. So what you're talking at probably another 2 years. And that
So
seems reasonable.
if
Yeah.
he so he's on pace for probably around what 45-ish goals this year.
Probably.
So, by the end of this calendar year, he could pass Gordie Howe. So let's just say, yeah, he scores 30 exactly more this year. He would be 68 from Wayne.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically 2 years for him.
Yeah.
And he can do it. That's
Mhm.
insane.
Yeah. And like like a couple years ago, we're not sure if he can do it, but then you realize he's Alexander Ovechkin and on a Met year, you're talking at least 30, 35 goals. At least. Like I'm talking minimum. I like he'll always do more than that, but just wild.
I think, yeah. It's just we always talk about that endurance we have with him. Like, he's what, 36, 37, and he's still one of the top leaders in hits. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be able to get through it. I think even if there's even a down year of like, I'll say, okay, down year 30 goals, for example.
Yep.
There's still time. He'll
Knock
be
on wood, by
okay.
the way.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. I'm knocking on my
Yeah.
desk right now. Gotta be
Mhm.
careful about that.
He had I didn't even clue in on that. He had 50 goals in 77 games last year.
Yeah, man, he's
Yeah,
amazing.
no, he's crazy. Like I'm pretty sure he'd be a hell of a lot closer. Obviously, he'd be a hell of a lot closer if had there not been a lockout in his actual rookie the year he got drafted, had there not been a shortened season in 2012, 2013, and then
COVID.
COVID.
He
Yeah.
would probably
He would
be
be
like there right now.
there, yeah.
there. Yeah. Like we're having that conversation.
Man, he's great. Man, he's great. But it's impossible to talk about Alex Ovechkin without talking about sort of his biggest rival, the greatest
Especially-
hockey player of all time. Without
especially
a
on this podcast.
Sidney Crosby, at the ripe age of 35, turned 35 this past summer, is sixth in scoring right now, a point behind Nikita Kucherov. One good game, and he's probably in the top 3. I just want to point that out there. I mean, he's just, I think he's top of the league on 5-on-5 points as well. And if we look at all-time scoring, he's actually 17th right now. He's 10 away from Teemu Solani. He's honestly, you know what? By the end of the year, knowing the way Sid scores, I'm thinking he can probably get to Paul Coffey, who's at 14th. But, I was thinking to myself the other day. So he's 300-ish points away from Mario Lemieux. I think it's fair to say, like, I could see Sidney Crosby finishing his career past Esposito at 10th in scoring at 1590. Do you think Sid could get past Lemieux? Because, again, if we talk about it like this, and obviously Lemieux missed a lot of time, famously. But Sidney Crosby, if he had sort of not had those nasty concussions, he could probably be chasing Mario Lemieux's points right now.
Sorry, I'm just pulling it up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Funny you bring that up today. Well, not funny, but good coincidence you bring that up, Adam.
Why?
Because on this day in 2000, Mario Lemieux came out of retirement.
Really?
Yes, he was already he was already the owner, and then he came back and he's like, "I'm playing again."
It feels like a conflict of, you know what? Whatever.
Who cares? It's the NHL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He played for a while longer.
He could definitely. What Lemieux 1723. I don't see why not. Like, how many more years has Sid got in him? I think that's the question.
I mean, like, the thing with Crosby is he's a smart player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The mind won't slow him down. You know what I mean? The mind won't. His mind's not gonna. It's just can his body keep up?
it's just Pittsburgh's
Right.
been responsible with him. They haven't. He's not playing like the heavy minutes he used to every time. So there's a good chance.
He's still like. I just love seeing these two just sort of still be at the top of the league. It's still incredible to me. Like, man, 10 points over point per game right now. On pace for like 40 goals. I just love Sidney Crosby.
I do too. Great for my fantasy team.
Speaking of fantasy, let's
Yeah.
quickly get it up because this week is actually Daniel, how close have you been keeping an eye on your and I's matchup this week? Because we are playing each other.
I know we're pretty close with
It
this.
has been a very close week for us, eh? It's been going back and forth.
I've been just tweaking a few things because I know my team's been dealing with like just 3 injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what's annoying is because Chris Letang has been hurt until last night, I put him on IR and like I'll pick up Michael Bunting and just get some points. I have had Michael Bunting on my fantasy team at least 3 times so far. I just keep, but then it was like, oh hey, Chris Letang's back, so I'm like, okay, never mind Bunting, and I dropped him like an hour later. But here's what's the thing is because I'm looking here, I don't like Vanacek hasn't played like all week, so I need to double check here, Daniel. Who do you have playing today? Do you have you have 1, 2, 3, oh God, 5. You have a lot of players playing tonight. Please tell me. Oh my God. Okay, so I need Vegas and Washington to win tonight. Otherwise, I think you're going to pull ahead with your goalies. I can't stand the fact that on your roster, Daniel, why do you have 5 goalies?
I dropped Marc-Andre Fleury.
Okay, so you have 4. So you have Frederick Anderson on IR, Peter Kochetkov, Linus Ullmark, and Connor Hellebuck. Daniel, what am I looking at?
You know, those were all, with the exception of Hellebuck, those were all free agent pickups.
No, Anderson was a waiver.
A waiver, yes, okay. But I didn't draft anybody except Connor Hellebuck.
I hate that. I hate you really took advantage of the waiver wire.
I drafted John
So
Gibson
mad.
over Linus Ullmark.
We should be ashamed that we let that happen. But Daniel, you and I, it's going to be close this week. It's going to be
It
very
is.
close. I'm nervous.
So we're not going to talk about the fact that Daniel just said he dropped Marc-Andre Fleury. We're just going to
I
gloss
no,
over
I
that.
actually
We're just
I
gonna.
did it.
Everyone seemed to like gloss over it in the group chat. No one
I
like picked up on that.
Yeah, so
Mike
what
sent the
happened?
screenshot.
I did it right before I was gonna go to work, and I'm like, all right, put my phone on airplane mode. I'm gonna get a personal message from Adam about this. He was like, excuse me, like, what did you say to me Wednesday night? But I didn't get anything
Yeah, no, I didn't. What did we say Wednesday? Oh, because you texted me about the Flurry
because
stuff.
you're like, how can you pick Flurry over Cam Talbot? And then
Yes.
Alex is like, they're both kind of having bad years.
No.
They're
Talbot's
both
being
ass.
disappointed. Well, when Flurry lost his last game, I was like, sweet, Daniel's gonna lose points here. This is good for me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I got Hellebuck and Ullmark, and I'm like, crap. I need them to drop the ball tonight. Need them to drop the ball. Tage Thompson has had like the second 5-point night of his season so far, fourth in league scoring at 41 points. It's incredible to me that they lost Jack Eichel and then they pick out a player who might be better than Jack Eichel, by the way.
Yeah, he has been just on fire.
I should probably say, what was it, a 5-goal night?
Yeah, in like the first
four in the first period.
A player-only meeting for the Blue Jackets because they got killed so badly by the Sabres, and door closed after the game for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure some interesting things were said in that room after that game. But like, 6 points against the Columbus Blue Jackets.
You know what's tough? Christo didn't play him that night. He kept him on the bench. He didn't put him on, so he lost like 30 points.
Why?
Alex is I guess he just forgot. He would have played him. Christo's the Saber guy, but he just forgot. Because I think tough. they were going on about in the group chat. I'm like, I'm gonna check if he's even playing, and no, he had him on the bench. Forgot to set his lineup.
That's tough. And like, and again, like going back to something we were talking about like a few weeks ago when the Sabres weren't necessarily hot. And I don't want to just pinpoint this one performance, but like having a player like this, like if you go back to the Buffalo Sabres of like 2 and 3 and 4 years ago, where they start their season with a 10-game winning streak and then just completely collapse. I don't think they had a team like this, and I think a performance like that one in particular is proof of that, to me at least.
Yeah, I don't think they were, the candle wasn't burning as bright early on for them to give this type of like, hopeful consistency. I think right now, I think Tage Thompson, I've said it before. I've said it how he had that breakout year last year, that it's just something Buffalo needs, right? Like, I love that there's these feel-good stories now for the Sabres, that they have a player like him who wants to be there, who's committed there long-term, and he's just performing. Like, we thought it was going to be questionable about whether or not he plays to that contract, and I think he's exceeded expectations by a landslide.
Now, the Sabres have lost their last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
However, the vibes are fun. I forgot they had that 8-game losing streak. They are actually, funny enough, behind the Habs in the standings, which, come on, pick it up, Buffalo, pick it up. No more of that. Come on, get us down there, buds. By the way, shout out to the Panthers, who are, I know Barkov just got back below Detroit. Got to see that first round pick. Very good. Ben Sherratt, thank you. Always like looking at the league and looking at the standings and realizing, man, it really is done for the Capitals, despite how good that is.
Can I have to ask a question about all this though. Tage Thompson, third period, barely played.
Oh God, yeah.
Like,
here we go.
Like 3 minutes, right?
I have to ask.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Can I just say that I find it disgusting that Jeff Merrick has gotten more heated about this than anything they've ever talked about in 32 Thoughts, including some of the most serious news stories we've ever seen in the NHL the past couple of years. I actually got very upset listening to that episode because I'm like, he sounded mad. I'm like, this is what you're... Anyway. But he'll go on Hockey Night in Canada and joke about John Scott. I know. So what you're referring to is the goal in one game record belongs to Joe Malone,
Yeah.
who I believe scored the first goal in Montreal Canadiens history. Fun fact. And Tage Thompson could have chased it. And they and the 32 Thoughts guys also reference, of course, McDavid was on pace to try and beat Daryl Sittler's 10-point game, but then the Oilers did the same thing. I don't, you know what? If it was a Hab, this is what I'll tell you, Alex. I would have liked to have seen him do it. Now, do you just sort of say the game's done? Let's not risk injury or something. I don't know, but I would have liked to have seen him go for it. I would have.
Yeah. Like, is that not the whole point of having records? If we're just going to sit here and say, it's okay, not a big deal, then we're just going to sit here with the same records when we know there's guys who can do it. Do you think McDavid can't put up more than 10 points in a game? Come on.
He can.
Come on. 100%. I just don't listen, man. It's the most hot. It's got to be the most sport thing that they're not going to chase it, and that's fine, whatever. But like, let's not like what. Listen, I'm going to pick my battles. I'm not going to fight this one, but I think he should have chased it.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. I think when we see other, I always use this excuse. We see other leagues and the records being broken. Can you imagine if you said, "Hey, Aaron Judge, let off on the home runs a bit, buddy," or in the NBA, Steph, I know you're almost at Ray Allen and Reggie Miller for the threes, but we're gonna sit you for the fourth.
Yeah,
just
but
in case.
But it's in bad taste that Patrick Marleau broke the record.
Hey, LeBron, could you just maybe stop shooting the ball? Get that points record, please.
Yeah. Don't pass Kareem.
Man, I'll tell you. You think when I see that Caulfield has like the fourth most goals to start a career of any Hab, you know what? The first thing I have, and this is maybe stupid to think, but the first thing I think, I'm like, can he break Richard's goal record for the team? That's wild, and that won't happen for a decade, for any player that starts getting sort of that level of game. But like, you want to see that. I love seeing history happen in front of me, and except COVID, because that sucked. But it's cool. That's why I'm so interested in Ovi chasing the goal record. It's just cool to see history happen. I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
No.
But it's just, it would have been cool to see. Cool.
Matthews, stop shooting. We don't want you passing Rick Vive's record.
50 goals and 50. Come on. How disrespectful. What do you think?
No.
Come on.
Come on, Austin.
You're not Wayne Gretzky. You're not the second best player of all time. You can't do that.
Hey, Mitch, don't score on your 17th straight game.
How dare you?
Let's not pass the record.
I like to use an old one.
Let's
sure.
Hey, Frederick Anderson, don't break Andrew Raycroft's and Ed Balfour.
Yeah.
Win record for the franchise.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah.
Don't do that. I can't believe Andrew Raycroft held that record, but that's okay. We won't talk about that.
Does McDavid have a chance to pass Gretzky in points?
Oh.
So McDavid's at 54 points this year.
Yeah, Gretzky's record is.
I think it's what is it off the top of my head? Is it 2,200 points? That could be generous. I could be underselling him.
Sorry, in one season.
It's holy crap!
In one season or in.
It's
a career?
No. I mean, totally. I forgot. I thought it was 2,200. I am so wrong.
No,
it's 2,857. Oh crap!
Yeah.
So okay. Well, let's compare. Right now, Connor McDavid is not even at 800. Okay, never mind.
Dude, like if you go look at Wayne Gretzky's some of his point totals, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he had two. His third year was 212 points. And he followed that with a 196 bum. Then he had 3 consecutive 200-point seasons. Holy crap. Okay, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, no, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think so.
But 54 points, he's a god. Yeah.
No, he's crazy. I love
playing
him.
really well.
Yeah. He's not Sidney Crosby, though. What does Connor McDavid ever won? Nothing.
He won.
I mean, he should win the Hart almost every year, but he won't. And whatever. We'll have that discussion for another day.
Does Mitch Marner get his way into the Hart conversation, by the way?
Yes.
The conversation, probably he shouldn't win it. I have so here's my thing. with the way, and since we're talking about McDavid, with the way McDavid just runs through the league, unless you do absolutely something extraordinary, you do not win the Hart. So Matthews last year scored 60 goals. 4 people have done that in what, since 2000?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think it's like 3 active players.
It was like
Yeah.
Stamkos,
Stammer, yeah.
Ovechkin.
And I think Ovechkin did it twice, or someone did it twice.
No, not Patrick Kane.
No. Again, I think they're the only active people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when Nikita Kucherov won, he had more points than McDavid.
It's like 128 or something.
Yeah. Like, to me, McDavid is so good that you have to do something extraordinary to take it from him.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Can I call him? Okay, so this might be something I want to use later, but is Connor McDavid the MVP standard?
Yes.
I think he's above it.
You're right. He's above it, but he is the MVP standard to me.
Okay, let's start this conversation then.
Okay.
If the Oilers we're gonna remember the Taylor Hall thing. If the Sabres make the playoffs and the Oilers don't, this is not my opinion. I want to do the classic NHL thing. Does Tage Thompson get the MVP over McDavid? No.
I think there's an excuse. It's like
I could see it happening because this league sucks.
It's like Taylor Hall and the Devils.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm comparing it to. Remember the freaking hoopla about that? McDavid got so robbed that year. That was insane.
And Taylor Hall didn't play a full season.
Like, and up there, Jason Robertson will probably be a finalist if he keeps this up. But I'm just wondering, like, I'm looking at league scoring. Draisaitl is just, he's there. He's got his MVP. Sorry, Leon, but even he knows. He knows where he is.
Dude, I love Leon Draisaitl. He's not the MVP of his own team.
No. I was going to bring that up.
That's my biggest thing. I love him.
Marner and Austin Matthews. Yeah.
But, so it's really just like
no, but I think you can make an argument this season that Mitch Marner has been the Leafs' most valuable player.
Yeah, especially with the sort of start that, like, no one's talking about that Matthews is kind of heating up right now. I think he's at like 18, 17 goals.
And yeah.
I'd say, okay.
No, Nylander's killing it, by the way. 17 goals.
I like what Alex said about something extraordinary has to happen to win the Hart. I know it's not always the best case, for example, Taylor Hall again, but I think of, and I'm going to say it again, but I think of 2011 and Corey Perry, where literally half the team is injured and then he drags them to the playoffs. Like something like that has to happen for someone like Mitch Marner to win it.
Well, so McDavid, by the way, if we just ignore the point totals, he's also on pace for like 70 plus goals. Right. And like, normally you'd say that's not going to happen, but with McDavid, there's a slight thing in your mind that goes, he could.
He could.
So like if he has 120 points, 60 goals, it's slam dunk.
Like you walk into the season, McDavid's the MVP. Is there anybody else that you could walk into the season and say he's the MVP?
So was it Matthews last year or McDavid the year before that was a unanimous MVP?
I'm pretty sure it was McDavid. I don't think Matthews was unanimous.
Maybe Wayne has this, but I'd like to know how many unanimous MVPs we've had.
Let's see if I can find it.
Because I don't know if we've ever had 2 in 3 years. But it's funny that McDavid could impress more than 100 points in 56 games. Oh, God. Remember when he was chasing it and he had like 2 games against the Canucks in the COVID-shortened year? And he's like, yes, this is going to be fun. Oh, man. Canucks were bad that year.
So it was in 2021. It was the second time in history.
Really?
Yeah.
So if he doesn't,
trying to find that.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the only other player to do so is Wayne Gretzky in 1982, who was voted first by all 63 voters following his ridiculous 92-goal, 212-point season. 92 goals.
Hey, guess what? Only played 5 games in the playoffs. Guess he got a first round exit. Bum.
It's like the early Michael Jordan years. He never could get out of the first round.
Yeah, shout out. But yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. Pierre Engvall gets suspended for a game for the
Good.
Trevor Moore stuff.
The
I
Sean
thought
Dursey.
Sean Dursey.
Sean Dursey.
Other
Wrong,
former
wrong
Leaf.
former
Trevor Moore
Leaf.
got booed. Sorry, I got
Wrong.
him.
Sean Dursey got booed. Wrong former.
Yeah, with
Which was
200 of his
funny.
friends and
Yeah,
family there.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah, what were they doing? Fight that.
That's so funny.
Listen.
They were cheering. They kept.
Why did they defend
panning to his
him on the
parents.
ice?
They kept panning to his parents.
So can I just say that? Listen, I think we can all agree that Engvall didn't mean to do it, but if you think that doesn't mean he deserved the game, can you just
Are there people out there who say
No.
that? Because I didn't see that.
Yeah, there were. And I
Yeah,
was
you
just
already-
trying to think, it's like, remember the argument we had about the Jason Spezza stuff? And it's like, listen, he probably, at the end of the day, despite his history, he still delivered the knee. It's still a thing.
100%.
Like it's still an accident. Like we talk about the Jonathan Huberdeau before the show, Alex, you and I were talking about the penalty to Jonathan Huberdeau last night in the Flames Leafs game. Listen, he didn't mean to do it, but that was just a reckless stick by Huberdeau, and it was a deserving penalty. Engvall, that's a deserved suspension. That's just a reckless
100%.
stick. Like,
Dude, you're on a
Jesus.
wild place in Leafs Twitter, man.
Man, I don't even know why I get it. I don't follow that many people on Leafs Twitter.
No, I don't understand.
It's annoying.
You guys see some weird stuff. Even I don't see it.
It's weird that I get more crazy stuff from Leafs Twitter than Habs Twitter. I miss some stuff on Habs Twitter. And I'm like, what do you mean people were? I just kind of like, okay, great.
But I think my thing with this Jason Spezza stuff was more so with like the Department of Player Safety.
Oh, that was bro. Everything there was such a mess.
It was just,
Yeah.
and that whole thing was a nightmare.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, Pierre Engvall deserved it, and I don't feel bad at all. Like I
Okay.
don't feel bad for Sean Dursey an ounce.
He pulled the heartstrings though. What he said
I don't care. What did he
about
say? I didn't see.
when he talked about it's always been his dream to play at home ice for the Leafs,
No, that's
and then they
super
talked
cool.
about how anyway it was when he was drafted they thought it was going to be like that, and then coming back as an LA King.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, he would have been great, but Jake Muzzin is okay. Is
Wait,
cool.
why
Was
why
cool
do you
too.
not feel bad for Sean Dursey? What did I miss?
No, nothing. No, because I mean, they were going at each other all night. I'm pretty sure him and
Oh, okay.
Bunting were going at each other all night.
I saw the clip of Bunting bark, and I'm like, yeah, great.
Yeah. I
Also,
love how everyone hates him. That's how I know I should like him.
oh, exactly.
That's how I know. Yeah,
Nick Robertson out 6 to 8 weeks with just
unfortunate.
shoulder.
Shoulder.
Doesn't require surgery. Luckily, man, you feel for the guy.
I do.
It's like every time he gets going, it just feels like there's an injury. I feel brutal for him.
And it was literally, yeah, like as he gets going, as in they finally kept him on that second line.
Mm-hmm.
Tough.
Can I say just one thing before we get to the injury? I just love his personality when it comes to them asking questions about Jason all the time.
Well, you have actually spoken and interviewed him, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great person to really speak to. Good sense of humor. He always gives a few side stories when you ask him a few things. But I remember he did say something to, I believe it was to TSN, where they're like, yeah, like your name's, trending a lot too. What do you feel about that? And he's like, oh, well, sometimes people search my brother's name and I guess I just come up a lot. I'm just appreciative of that.
Man, that's such a humble response. You know what? You mentioned side stories when you talk to him. Kind of sounds like he has the same personality as you, to be honest.
Who, me? Well, maybe.
Yeah. No, that's a compliment. You always have those sort of fun stories where it's like, yeah, I met Brian Burke once and he was half drunk.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if he was drunk. He was having a fun time.
He was, yeah. It's like that photo of Ron McLean with his top off on top of a bar, and you're like, what's going on here?
So many questions.
Was this CBC approved?
Can we
Probably
just
not.
talk about the fact that, I don't want to harp on Sportsnet, but can we just talk about that? Elliot Friedman spent the past couple of days pumping the tires of Kevin BX responding to Zdeno Chara's stupid thing about a cup final a decade ago. And the whole thing was basically BX obviously denying it. And that was the big draw. Here's the thing. They didn't even open the show with it. They waited till the first intermission. That was the big Kevin,
They should have done
best
it.
you can do?
I know that's not the best he can do.
It just makes me angry. I was just like, this is It's just so Canadian media. It makes me angry.
It was weird. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about something that happened 11 years ago.
When I first read the article on Chara's appearance on that podcast, I thought it was like a satire account. Like when I was for the way it was written, I guess it just like did that actually happen? Like what are these things going on?
It's the most wild unhockey story too. That's
Yeah.
what I'm like. What are we do? What conversation are we having here, man? Like
Hockey night in Canada.
no, but like the story itself. Name me any like that might happen in other sports. I don't know, but that's the least hockey thing to happen. You really think they did that?
You
I was
know
trying to-
what? BX made a good point of like how covered it is, especially that was a Canadian team in the finals.
Yeah.
People would have seen it, but it's just my thing is I can't swear, but who the F cares? Why is this a segment on hockey night? You teased this. You teased this for hockey night in Canada. You make me sick.
Wild.
Oh, it just
They
makes
wanted
me...
the anti-Bruin sentiment to come in Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay,
fantastic.
I was funny. Okay, so when I first read the article and I listened to the Chara podcast segment,
Yeah.
I was on the train and I was just like, I don't know, I was doing something with my hands. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how do you pretend you're holding the cup, just skating around after a game? Like, you're going like, I don't know, maybe just fist bumping. I don't know.
You can just get your
It's
sticks and
wild,
just
yeah.
go, oh, come on.
I guess.
The Chara story seems just as wild to me as what I watched this morning when I watched that clip.
Listen, you remember how Michael Jordan was like the good game Mike thing? Story from The Last Dance. Everyone who hasn't seen it, that episode where I don't even remember the player's name, but the reporter says that guy had a great night. Michael Jordan wasn't shooting the ball right. And Jordan says this guy apparently went up to him and said, "Good game, Mike." And they played like the next, and they might have been like a home and home. And Jordan had as many points as that guy did in the whole game in the first half to get back to him. And apparently the guy never said "good game, Mike." So Michael Jordan just sort of made this fake scenario to motivate him. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what gets said between those two, all Chara has to do is show him a ring. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like when Brad Marchand, like that picture of him crying was circulating after the finals against the Blues where he turned over the game, the cup winning goal. And he just put that picture of him with the cup in 2011. It's like, no matter what, you know, he can just be like, yeah, I have a ring. So like
yeah, Jeremy Roenick.
That's such a boring response, though.
Whatever.
It's the easiest response, but it's got to be the most unoriginal, boring response, and that's exactly what I would expect from Chara.
Doesn't like Pat Maroon always do that too?
Probably.
Yeah, and it's unoriginal, but I know Pat Maroon can do better.
Or Jeremy Roenick to Patrick Waugh.
Yeah, but hey, but Waugh came out on top of that, right?
Yeah, with his ears.
And here what you say about 2 Stanley Cup in blood game, fucking golden moment. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Flames Leafs game last night? I only got to catch overtime, which was
the return of Nazem Kadri.
Yeah.
He scored.
I mean, he lost, but
and noted sniper Noah Hannafin with 2 goals.
They do win in overtime, which is nice.
It was crazy. I didn't know
48
they could
seconds
do that.
in.
I didn't know they could win in overtime.
It just takes Jonathan Huberdeau being reckless with a stick.
And it was Mitch Marner, the redemption.
5-point night from Nylander.
Yeah. I was looking at Nylander this morning, going through just looking at his stats. He's had a point in every game but 6 this year.
That's what?
Wow.
That's stupid.
Yeah, like Adam, I think you had made the comment like a couple episodes ago where you're like, well, we're just waiting for Nylander to like have that weird streak of him not doing anything. And like he just hasn't had that yet.
Do you know why, Alex?
Why?
Because he saw I drafted him in fantasy and he thought, do you know what, Adam? Just for you.
Were you one of those? Okay, so do you remember when people were sending like Jake Gensel messages? We're like wishing him good luck on the season because they drafted him to his fantasy, and he actually responded to them.
Oh, really?
I've seen it
like,
happen in other
best.
sports.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen in other sports. I didn't see the Jake Gensel one, but yeah, William Nylander is having a very good season. Consistent, which is like it's always the one thing I think Leaf fans have wanted from him is to have a consistent season. And I mean, listen, they played like 29 games, so there's like, I can't do math, but like 53 games left, so we still got some time. But 29 games he's been consistent, and I can't complain. No, it was a good game. I didn't get to watch the game live, but from what I was watching this morning, it looked like a good game. Like the Leafs are like 8-0-2 in their last 10. They have points in their last like 13. Mitch Marner is on a 22 game point streak. Like I just, there's a lot of good things. I don't want to sound like doom and gloomy. So there's a lot of really good things to look for in this team. Look out for with this team.
I like what the game they rallied back. That they were down. They had some odd goals from guys I didn't think were going to be the factors there. So I mentioned Noah Hannafin with the 2 goals. Trevor Lewis also scored. So it was good to see that even though they were down, going like in the third, they were able to have that momentum to tie it up. About I think with 6 minutes left, and then they win in overtime. So I think it was a solid win. We could talk about the Flames, and they're not the quote unquote juggernaut we thought they were going to be, but it's still a really good win. And the way they won it against a team that we expect to also still be contenders.
By the way, unfortunately, William Nylander's Twitter DMs are not open. So
how about his Instagram?
Shoot him a message. I'm not bothering on Instagram.
The wild thing about all this is they're second in the Atlantic. Ahead of them is Boston, who have 43 points. The Leafs have 42. But the caveat is the Bruins have 3 less games played. God, I hate this division, man. I hate this division. I was having a conversation with someone. I'm like, man, I just need the Leafs to win as many games as possible because I don't want to face the Tampa Bay Lightning in round 1 again. I don't want it.
It could be the New York Rangers if they keep up being mid.
Yeah, but but that means they have to finish first in the Atlantic.
Do you imagine if Boston didn't play Jeremy Swayman as much this year?
Man, he's not been great. Not been great, Jeremy Swayman. By the way, from Chris Peters on Twitter, in his season debut, Jaromir Jagr, the legend, had 2 assists over 50 minutes of ice time in Kladno's 7-3 loss to Liberec today. Kladno had an illness running through the team, has already forced them to postpone the game, so the owner jumped into the lineup. He's 50 years old. And also, I forget who tweeted this, but because he's played, this pushes back his Hall of Fame eligibility. And I swear to God, if they do not make an exception for Jaromir Jagr, I will be very angry on the show.
They should the builders exception they have.
They
should have that for players.
Well, Kladno aren't going to play if not for him. Remember, it's just ridiculous. Wait, hold on, man. I got to double check. I got to double check. Give me a minute. This is very important to me. Gotta check someone's Hockey D page. Okay, Thomas Plekanec is also playing and doing well. Very good.
Okay, they're pushing back his Hall of Fame consideration.
That's what you had to check.
Yeah, no, Thomas Plekanec, man. He's too important. We love Thomas.
We love him on the podcast. Adam's mom. If you
love
Thomas Plekanec.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, the backtrack.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, trust me. We have a few more things to get to. The Heritage Classic next year. It's gonna be the Battle of Alberta. Freeman said last night at 32 odds. That's gonna be wicked.
Yeah,
that's
gonna
be in
October,
which is gonna be cold.
Can you imagine they did like February or January, like the
it'd be so cold.
Minus 30 outside.
Like the first Heritage Classic. Well, see that to get warmed up, you got to encourage everyone to fight it a little bit of a scrap.
Oh, did I ever? Okay, so it's funny when you say side story. So I went to the Heritage Classic in Toronto.
Okay.
And I was probably on the upper level, but I was right at the front of the barrier.
Who did they play that game?
It was the Red Wings.
Oh, okay. Wasn't that the winter class, proper winter classic?
Oh yeah. That was the one. And it's funny, Jared Coreau is started for Detroit. But anyways, I always remember he was he was a goalie that went to the NCAA and everything, and then for some reason they gave him the Winter Classic over Jimmy Howard. But yeah, anyways, it's funny when you say the fighting thing because it wasn't really fighting. There was a guy that was sitting near us, and I think he just had quite a few drinks.
Of course.
Started standing up on the stairs, like, and I'm on the upper level at the front. And then I was scared. I'm like, is this guy gonna jump? And eventually security like held on to him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry I did this. Can you still let me just finish the game?" They're like, "No, you're out of here." But
Get out of here,
that was
man.
just a wild moment. I was watching the game like, is this guy actually like he's right at the barrier, he's standing up and he's just jumping around.
Listen, man.
Fun fact
Get a
about
better V,
Jared.
maybe. I don't know.
Fun fact about Jared Careau, still playing in Slovakia. I just searched it up.
Hey, good for him. Long
17 games, 945 save percentage.
Friedman also said on 32 Thoughts Hockey Night Edition, still hate that name, that it looks like Jesse Puljujarvi and a move from Edmonton could take some time. Said apparently that Jesse Puljujarvi's sort of camp and the Oilers did have a discussion before the year saying if it didn't work, that basically they would move him on. Now, the problem could be that he has a $3 million qualifying offer, which could sort of stop. And he also talked about apparently Puljujarvi doesn't feel comfortable when he plays with Draisaitl or McDavid. I do wonder if a part of that is that every media outlet in Edmonton rips him when he doesn't score with that tandem. But, you know.
Is this 2022 or
I was going to say, yeah.
what year is this?
This is on the Oilers, guys.
What year is this?
Puljujarvi hasn't been playing well, but at this point, like, for the love of God, these two, remember, this isn't even the first, this isn't the second, this is the third time there's been something wrong between these two. Remember how Puljujarvi almost didn't come back?
Yeah. Like twice.
Just move him.
Like they could have moved him time ago and they probably would have gotten more for him. Like I don't think his value is any higher than it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever this all
Not as
started.
good as it was in the summer, Alex.
Yeah, like you could have done, like you knew you didn't want him. Like it's not like this is brand new information. This isn't right. Like this is common knowledge. Clearly, like everyone across Twitter knows this. Like let's do this. Like let's figure this out. When are we gonna do this?
It's interesting what Edmonton could actually get for him now at this point. Like, what would they want? Like the third, a second?
Well, you're not going to get a second.
Isn't that what they want though?
Initially, yeah, I remember that.
Get it.
Okay, I know.
You're just not going to get. Well, hey, listen. If you want Joel Edmondson, you can throw Puljujarvi in the package, bro.
So that's a great point. I was thinking about that after last episode, and I'm like, we're all talking about first and a prospect, but like first or a prospect. Like I don't understand why there can't be a deal including Jesse Puljujarvi.
Which is something. Now we're not stealing this from STP because we had this exact same conversation last year, because I wanted Puljujarvi on the hat.
Did they talk about it?
They did, yeah. They actually mentioned Kirby Doc's been a good reclamation project. So I want to make this clear.
Yeah.
If you guys remember, I've been screaming all summer about getting Puljujarvi.
Yeah.
Make that.
Well, didn't we talk about it when he was going to be traded last time?
I think we did. I'm pretty sure I came on the show. I'm like, can't get in there because it wouldn't cost much, and it's going to be even cheaper. So we're going Puljujarvi. There we go. God,
Montreal collecting all of the former top 10 picks.
Yeah, man. I tell you, man, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Just wait till the Galchenyuk comes back. No, please, God, don't. We're back.
Oh my God.
Is he playing Colorado now? Like, did they actually put him in the lineup?
No, I think he got waived.
Oh.
Yeah, which is silly. Hockey Canada. This is from Jeff Merrick last night. Apparently, are going to be announcing their new board in the next couple of days. Yeah, we'll see. We still need names there and how who exactly is going to be this sort of two heads at the top of it. Merrick also mentions, and this is a reference to John Scott earlier, apparently for this year's All-Star Game rosters, fans are going to have a big part to play. Now,
that's a good thing.
It is. I saw a lot of people joking about maybe that's how they're going to get a guy like Arbor Jackeye in, which I thought he's been a meme around the league. And I was trying to think, who are some of the biggest memes around the league right now that people are going to want to try and get into the All-Star game?
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
I'm trying to think, like, who is it? Who are the big guys around? You know what I mean?
Michael Bunting? No.
No, he's not.
It's no one from Toronto.
and
Okay.
he shouldn't be there anyway.
I mean,
He shouldn't be.
I
It's
mean,
not-
neither should John Scott or Arbor Jack, but that's fine.
yeah,
Okay,
but
I'm
they're
trying to think.
memes. There's something fun with that. Bunting's
Yeah.
just sort of like,
No one likes him.
Dyson
so,
Mayo.
because of his name.
why? Because
And he's
he's
getting like
name,
21 minutes a game for Arizona.
like, who's fun right now? Like Bennington just.
No, but if they send Bennington, someone fights him. Like that's the only reason Jordan Bennington is at the
Noticed, but I
game.
just noticed my dog's in my room and she's under my. Carrie, when did
Oh.
you get here? How long have you been in here?
Um,
She's happy. She's doing her
like
thing.
who's a character?
Like, who's a meme? Someone on the Sens, Artem Zub. He's a funny guy. I'm just trying to think.
Brock Besser. No.
No, he's not. No,
I
don't do
know.
that.
He's too
He's a good
nice.
dude. There's not a lot of memes right now. Someone will rise from the ashes, and they will be a meme. Like, I'm just trying to think who's that guy? Who's a scrappy enforcer right now? Who's on the edge of his career? Or
Ryan Reeves.
Can they get an inactive? That's a good one. Could you get like an inactive guy who's unsigned?
Joe Thornton comes back for the All-Star game, so we can watch him skate like concrete.
You know what I mean? I'm just
one.
thinking like who's around the Ryan
Oh
Reeves?
my God! You know who has to be? We're missing it. We're missing it. It's the one right in front of our face. Do you know who needs to be at the All-Star game?
Who?
Zach Bogosian. There's no bigger meme around than Bogo for Norris.
Alex, I nearly left the call just now.
Because I'm right. You left the call because you know I'm right.
Or Luke Shen. Yeah.
That's too nice of a story.
No. Okay.
That's too nice of a story. It's
I think
got to be
Del-
Zach Bogosian.
Galchenyuk would be a good one too. Because
Has he played an NHL game?
No, I don't know if he has this year, but I'll check.
I know obviously, yes, he's played an NHL, but I don't know if he's played this year.
Craig Anderson.
That would be a really
That'd
nice
be-
story. But I mean, I think Tage Thompson has that spot for Buffalo. He has played 4 games this year. How's Galchenyuk?
Are you still gonna
My-
do the
my
one
pick is Zach
player per
Bogosian,
team? Like
so.
at least I think they do that again.
I think they always do
Probably,
that.
Yeah, it's because they're boring. It's because we have to send someone from the Arizona Coyotes.
Dyson Mayo.
If we don't, it's a travesty.
I'm having a lot of problems thinking who's a big meme right now. I mean, like, how many people remember John Scott? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
besides his incident with Phil Kessel back in the day.
I'm trying to think.
But
Man, that is I'll never forget that. Just Phil Kessel hacking at John Scott's ankles.
and his
Did Phil Kessel even get suspended?
no, but his protector got 10 games.
Yeah, never forget.
came off
Never
the bench, didn't he?
Never
Yeah,
forget the
never
debut of
forget.
David Clarkson.
Yeah, literally. It's like, oh, damn it, David Clarkson. Like, you literally just signed in Toronto, and that's what you do. Love it. But continue, sorry.
No, I'm still trying to look at teams and I'm trying to think who could
Going
get
through a
it.
few things right now.
I'm just there isn't one that jumps out right now. Do you see Jets fans are apparently pissy with Nick Ehlers? I'll take him if you don't want him. But we'll see. That should be fun.
Okay. When Zach Bogosian's at the All-Star game, y'all are going to be upset.
Alex, why don't you get the whole of Armenia to vote for him?
I will.
Campaign. Okay.
All of California, too. Don't you worry. I got him.
Man, the Habs retro reverse jerseys look so bad on ice. And I think the longer I've seen them, the more I look at them, the more I hate them.
That's funny
They
because
hypnotized me at first, but now I just looking at them, they're like
I thought they were like,
ugly. Like they're ugly.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just my nostalgia. I love them. I love the Expos.
Yeah, but there's no red. I tell you, they should have. I said it at the time. They need to put some dark red on there, like some wine colored red. It would have been golden, but now I said they can't win in them. It's like the blue ones all over again. We need to talk about Mike Hoffman. He was doing so well. Like he was getting back in the good books. He scored, and they were down by 1. The goalie is pulled, and he throws a blind backhand pass to the front of the net. And it leads
Classic.
to the empty net goal. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Armia doesn't have a goal, and he's on the power play. Jake Evans doesn't have a goal this year. Edmondson has been like I just think like what are the veterans doing? It really is. If Suzuki and Caulfield are not on the ice, what is the point? What are we doing, boys? Come on. You're the vets. Like Joel Armia. I really hope Marty St. Louis hasn't been hypnotized by that guy. Joel Armia must have some sort of dirt on every person in the NHL because he just keeps getting like I don't get it. Remember when after that World Championships performance, everyone's like, he has value now. Why? Stop it. Get rid of him. God, and I can't believe the moment Bergevin gave him that contract, he turned to dust. I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
Oh, Mike Hoffman and Joel Armia.
Hoffman was playing.
I think it's his two-way game. It's very valuable to a lot of teams that have been looking for that in the bottom six.
And that's why someone's going to trade a first-round pick. And
For
let's
Joel
call the
Armia?
Edmonton Oilers.
Listen, like, here's the problem. You could probably get something for Armia. It's just a contract. You can't just get rid of like $3.5 million like nothing anymore.
Wait, does he have term?
I think it's at least 2 more years at 3.4.
No.
Top of my head.
So Armia
Yes,
half
it's 2
retained-
more years after this.
Armia half retained Joel Edmondson for Puljujarvi and a first.
Both of them half retained. I'd do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's it. If you're Montreal, that's yeah, sure. And then you hang up the phone and laugh.
And then the moment the trade goes through, you block the Oilers' numbers so they can't
Yeah.
get taxis.
Yeah, exactly. Like this. Yeah, anyone who wouldn't take that deal is nuts.
It's just worrying, man. I just don't get what's wrong with those veteran players. It feels like they're playing empty calorie hockey right now, and it pisses me off. It's just what it is.
But they're getting the losses you want, though, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
It's
but
good, but
see, that's the thing though, is I feel like if you want the losses, you're gonna have to take some of this. Like you can't have the best of both worlds. Like you can have the best of both worlds at times,
hold on.
but you're never gonna have the best of both worlds.
I went through last year, okay?
Correct. Yeah.
Listen, here's the thing.
And if you want to lose, you're not gonna lose every game like that. I watched losing on purpose and I watched losing by accident. And it's ugly.
It's just like I just don't understand how Joel Armia can seem like such a good player with zero hockey IQ. It bothers me so much. Yeah, tough loss, but whatever.
Did
Okay.
Phil Deneau score?
No, he had an assist though.
Damn it. Come on.
Okay.
Deneau.
Did he get booed?
I think at some point he did.
Okay.
No one's exempt from that.
Yeah.
Just like Nate Thompson. Great guy.
Yeah, it's Phil Deneau's fault he didn't get the 4th year.
God, I hate the fact. No, I don't think it was a year thing. I think it was like $500,000 per year. I think was the
I
thing.
thought it was also there was an extra year or,
Man,
or whatever.
I don't. It's Bergevin's probably right. It's everything about him. God, I hate Bergevin so much. Oh God, that's what sucks about losing to the Kings. It's like, man, well, we lost to Bergevin and the French in the same day. If you're a Habs fan and an England fan, Harry Kane, come on, buddy. Before we okay, Daniel, you're the World Junior guy. Take it away here. The Canadian roster is finalized for forwards.
Well, it's more or less gonna be finalized at this point. So what we're looking at here is the usual guys have basically gotten the spots already. They're gonna be scratched in the U Sports Showcase. So Connor Bedard, Shane Wright. The ones that surprised me is Nathan Gaucher is a scratch.
Who's he?
Remember him? He's
No.
on the Ducks. Remember he got that huge ovation when we were at the draft because he's a Q guy.
Oh, okay, yeah, because the Ducks drafted all the French guys.
Yeah. So right now, what we're seeing is you're basically gonna have those guys, but here is the lineup of other guys that are still fighting for it. So I just wanted to update on this. So right now we have, and this is according to Mark Masters, a few guys that we should be looking at. So, Riley Kidney, Joshua Law, they're
Habs
still both
legends.
fighting for spots here. Adam Fantilli is not. They haven't given it to him yet, and that's surprising for me.
Do you know why, Daniel?
Why is that?
Because it's not his draft plus 1 year. Remember, they always do that thing where if you're a year younger, then you're like the 13th forward, and then you're the first line center the next year.
Yeah.
So next year, if he's eligible, he'll be first line center. Watch.
Maybe
So
Logan
childish.
Stankoven too. He's also someone that I'm looking at right now, and he's probably going to be a lock. I don't know how that guy.
Speaking
went
of
into the second
Bergevin,
round.
thanks, dude. That makes me mad. Was
But-
he leading the OHL in scoring or something?
Yeah, he is.
Not bad.
But yeah, as of right now, a lot of the guys who are still fighting for it is a guy who we've mentioned a lot before because we wanted to know who is still in Vegas's farm system. So Zach Dean,
That's true.
is
The
still
only one
fighting for
left.
it. The guy that I think Mike should be excited about because he looks like a solid guy
Mike-
that should have been in top 10 is Brendan Othman.
Listen, I agree, but Mike's
think
never
Mike.
going to be excited. It's just
Okay.
Mike.
All
You
right.
know.
I'm not even excited for the World Juniors anymore.
No, but like I just mean like Mike and hockey. That
Oh, yeah.
match doesn't make him excited. So
No.
He's the
excited isn't an emotion he shows often for hockey.
The three scratches on defense is Del Maestro, Zellweger, and Clark. So they're probably the guys who are going to make it.
Can we talk about Brant Clark for a second, who didn't make the team last year, then
then-
made the NHL, and now he kind of has to make the team?
I love that.
because Hockey Canada are
So
extremely predictable.
So funny. So
Play one
Um,
game in the NHL, yeah, or
fine.
play a few games and then you make the your team
Know
automatically.
who else is probably going to make the team who you haven't mentioned yet?
who?
Mhm.
On the Mississauga Steelheads, Owen Beck,
Yes,
better than Shane Wright.
projected at the. He's supposed to project it to be the third line center.
Makes sense. Oh,
Yeah.
he'd be the Habs third line center for the rest of his career.
The only thing is the goaltending is they have 4 goalies.
Stop me if you've heard it before, and they're all questionable.
Yeah, they're all like. There's not really a number one guy right now.
They haven't
So it is-
really had one since like Carter Hart, have they?
yeah. I mean, you could say Sebastian Costa. He was technically
Oh.
on 2 World Junior teams last year.
Devin Levi too. Devin Levi.
Yeah.
he was a pretty clear cut.
So these are the 4 goalies, and we're gonna know in the next 2 games who's gonna be the guys. So it's Tyler Brennan, Thomas Milich, William Rousseau, and Ben Goudreau.
Is
Yes,
Kosa too old now?
I think so. He's
Ooh.
20. Also, he played. Give him a break. He played two.
Yeah, he was never the starter, was he?
Oh, he was started in the
Which was
summer.
wild.
Did they win? Who won the World Juniors?
They won
last-
they won in the summer. Remember the McTavish save?
Oh yeah, the most.
Yeah, that we like
Man,
did mention.
man.
I don't remember.
That would be so. He made the save on the goal line, then he set up the game winner, or did he score?
Oh.
The game winner?
Yeah,
That's-
that was what
One of them.
I remember they joked like that's one of the best plays to not really be watched by hockey
I know.
fans because it's in
Honestly,
July.
it's up there with Jordan Eberle. It's just the problem is Hockey Canada has like permanently damaged the
No.
reputation of the World Juniors.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed hockey tournament in the middle of August?
I remember just not wanting to put any time and effort into watching that.
Or forgetting about like when they actually did play. Just one last thing I want to say with the Real Juniors is, and I've sent it to you guys before, but I really don't like that they are not gonna be showing the
Oh
U
my
Sports
God.
the World Junior Camp
Why?
showcase. Okay, I love it. Like I think
Wait, hold,
Alex-
TSN aren't showing anything.
They're not
of it.
No,
showing
neither
any
are
of it.
Hockey Canada.
The
yeah.
U Sports stuff. Okay, that's
Like-
Hockey Canada is even worse. That's bad.
Okay, yeah, maybe the Hockey Canada. Sure.
Alex, you're a U Sports guy
I'm
now
in
too.
U Sports.
You are in
agree.
U Sports, right?
Yes,
like you want
correct.
these guys to have a bit more of exposure there. So there's the talent there because there's been years before the U Sports team has beaten the World Junior Camp.
Sure.
It's really showed that.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I just want to I think it's just for my own personal reporting is that I've got to interview a bunch of guys that have played in the showcase and just really what it meant to them, what it meant to showcasing their hockey program on a national stage. It's always been great. I interviewed he used to be the captain of the Team U-Bold. And like
Awful
just
name.
yes, and the way that he just kind of talked about what the tournament meant for him, being named a U Sports All-Star, getting to play with he called the future of against the future of hockey. These are great stories. Or just
You
getting
know-
that exposure of especially more U Sports guys making it to the NHL. Right?
I don't
Like
want to be rude, Daniel, but is Ben
Yeah.
Steiner behind you with a gun?
I think so.
no, it's not.
Blink twice if you're being held captive by the U Sports.
We love Ben Steiner, friend of the show. But
never spoken to him.
pardon?
Nice guy.
I've
He's
never
nice
spoken-
guy.
He's a nice guy. He's really good. He's helped me with my stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I just kind of feel. Is just I like that correlation we have there, and it's actually a smooth transition into what I want to talk about next.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's the 2018 thing, right?
2018 thing. So, with the exception of Riley Stotts in 2018, who is playing for University of Calgary right
Yeah,
now. the
I was
Dynamos.
gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah, playing in U Sports.
Yes, every pick 1 to 3, and then 1 to 3, and then 4 to 6 have made it to the NHL.
This is the Leafs 2018 draft.
The Leafs.
Which
Yeah,
That's Dubas's first draft.
that's Dubas' first draft.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll just say out the name. So Rasmus Sandin, Sean Dursey. I'm not gonna say his name properly, so I'm gonna
Semyon
say
Argachintsev.
yes. Even when I was at the covering the Marlies game, they just said SDA.
Yeah. That's
Every player just said that.
That's what
And then Matt Holloway, Philip Kral, and Pontus Homburg. Pretty solid draft. I know we're gonna say, but there is no like true star there. But
sure.
I mentioned how it's comparing to 2006, where there wasn't a star there, but there was a lot of consistency.
Do you have that in front of you?
Yes. So 2006 was Yuri Taluski, who ended up playing 400 games, and then Nikolai Kulemin, James Reimer,
my God, Nikolai
Korbinian Holzer, Victor Stahlberg, and Leo Komarov.
Wow.
Yeah.
The only pick that didn't make it
James Reimer is a star.
Yeah, he's good.
He literally dragged the team to the playoffs.
Listen, if you hit on your first round pick and you get your impact players there, and then you just get role players everywhere else, that's a success.
Yeah.
Like, people would be surprised. You guys know this, but people would be surprised just how rarely teams hit on all their draft picks. Like it's brutal.
Just look at 2011 for the Leafs. Like Josh Leivo's their best player out of that year. But this is what I like about it, because there's a story there where the Leafs have been able to weather a lot, add in a lot of guys they've developed to the system, and we're seeing it pay off now, especially this year, that you get the Pontus Homburg, you get the Mac Hollowell, you get a Rasmus Sandin, who's just getting a lot better. So I just want to point that out, where when people bring up like the whole Mark Hunter,
Daniel
Lou Lamoriello,
and there it is.
Daniel, I'm glad you brought that up.
All right, that's why.
Yes. I went through since you sent that text on a couple days ago.
Yeah,
and so I said, like, because even people with like who I was talking to were praising Mark Hunter when he was with the Leafs, and he ran 3 drafts, 2015 to 2017. Can I just say I'm a tad disappointed with the results? So let's start with 2015. There's 2 players in particular who stand out in this draft, and the first one being 4th overall Mitch Marner, which he battled for. He battled Mike Babcock for, as the story goes.
Can I counter with 2 points?
Sure.
You're aware of this for people listening. A, London Night.
Yep.
B, that's still a free space. It's a top 5.
Did Mike?
No, 100%. I'm not giving him. Listen. I'm just
pointing out to people who are going to be like, "How doopity doo? Look at Mitch Marner now." Like London Night.
But there was a battle for who they were going to take. The story goes, Mike Babcock wanted Noah Hannafin.
Wanted a lefty, really? That's funny.
Yeah, classic. Daniel, sorry, you were going to say something.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, was it Noah Hannafin?
Yeah,
was the guy.
And then in the second round, 34th overall, they took Travis Dermott. Decent guy. I mean, played 268. Who's played 268 games so far? Majority of them with the Leafs. But
who was drafted around him?
Yes, Alex DeBrincat.
Oh yeah, that's the famous one. Yeah.
Oh no, 2015.
Wasn't Alex DeBrincat 2015?
No, he was 16. It was
Sebastian Aho. Yes.
Was the next pick.
It's okay. The only other player who has played so far in that draft class, and I believe they've all been with the Leafs and 1 year with the Islanders, Dmytro Timashov.
That is a name, eh? That's a name.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys have not played from that draft. Okay. That's 2015. That's his first year. 2016.
Free space.
Austin Matthews, first overall. Free space. Okay. Like I could have made that pick.
Yeah.
There are two guys who have played somewhat significant games in the NHL from that in that time. Second, pardon?
I'm looking at them now.
Yeah. Carl Grundstrom, who helped get Jake Muzzin.
Yep.
He's played 158 games. In the fourth round, the Leafs selected Adam Brooks.
My boy.
Around somewhere now.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
And then there's three guys who have played less than 5 games. Igor Korshkov.
Another name.
I still cannot believe that guy was 31st overall.
Igor Korshkov, yeah. Joseph Wall, who is still with the team.
Yeah.
He's a goalie. I don't know what to expect. And then, pardon?
Flip a coin with them.
Yeah. And Keaton Middleton, who's playing for Colorado at the moment, but in the AHL. He's played 3 NHL games. I want to move on to sorry, let me tell you how many guys haven't played. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have not touched NHL ice.
A lot of them, I remember JD Greenway was traded for like future consideration to the Bruins. Sure. He was like an NCAA guy. I was like, is he coming? Is he not?
And last but not least, the 2017 draft.
This is another bad one.
There has been one player who's played so far.
Who? Good player.
Good player. Honestly, he's not the top pick that I think a lot of people expected, but I think he's turned into a solid guy for this team, especially moving forward. That is Timothy Liljegren at 17th overall, who's played 92 games so far.
We should say if he didn't have, was it mono?
Mono, yeah, and there was a couple.
He probably wouldn't have fallen, but for that, it's 17th. That's not bad.
Yeah, and the rest of the picks did not pan out.
But shout out my boy
NHL ice.
Ian Scott and Mike's boy Fedor Gordeev.
Fedor Gordeev, who is most known as a meme. Poor guy played for the Flint Firebirds, so you knew his career was done. Yeah, Ryan O'Connell, Ryan McGregor, Fedor Gordeev, who I don't even know. Is he in Minnesota still? Vladislav Kara, Emil Rassinen. I remember that name.
Yeah.
Yeah, where is Fedor Gordeev?
I remember we loved his size.
He's in the ECHL.
Do you remember Emil Rassinen? We always talk about his size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was peak Mark Hunter talk.
Yeah,
how about his size?
Playing in the first, you got 6'5", big boy. Playing for Chinsgard in Sweden. Can't say that name.
I'm just That's so. When you asked to look at that, Daniel, I was like, okay. I pulled up the drafts and I was sorely disappointed.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. It's just the way she goes.
I actually went through, so this is just like my one last thing with this, but I was going through like since 2000, who were the guys that had the most impact? So they have 2 players they've drafted have played 1,000 games, Alex Steen and Matt Stajan.
Okay.
And then the closest player to 1,000 games right now is Luke Shen at 891.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
After that, it's Kadri. He has he has more than 700 right now. I think he has exactly
767. I have it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a somber way to end the show.
But no,
reading out Mark Hunter's draft record.
I'm so sorry. I made a mistake.
Okay.
Luke Shen is not the leader to 1,000 games.
Who is it?
Can you guess who it is? Don't look at it. Just tell me.
Wait. In what time frame? Sorry.
Between 2000 and now.
Morgan Riley?
No.
Hint: he's not he wasn't a first round pick.
Was Jake Gardner a first round pick?
No.
Oh,
he was drafted by the Ducks.
By the Ducks. Yeah. So it's got to be someone before Luke Shen.
He's still playing, and he's a defenseman.
Who's a really old defenseman? He's
Can I just-
old, right?
Yeah, he's old. Can I just tell you
What division?
This one's
What
gonna
division?
hurt. This
What
one,
division?
yeah. What division? Help me out.
what division?
Yeah. Does he
Um,
currently play in?
I think he plays in the Central.
The Central.
Nashville,
Oh my god, this is gonna hurt. Okay.
Winnipeg.
I need to go look at the teams in the Central.
Oh no, he doesn't. He actually
Okay.
he
Where
plays
does
in
he
the
play?
Atlantic now this year.
The Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's only played like 10 games.
Zaitsev
No.
No.
It
No.
can't. No way.
in the Atlantic.
Yeah, but he played in the Central last year.
The Central to the Atlantic.
Yeah,
Oh God!
I think he was a PTO in training camp.
Oh my god.
At
Why
least
can't I
didn't
think?
draft John Moore, did they?
No, he was a
No.
first round pick by Columbus.
How do you know that?
Oh, I can tell you why. Because he was a pick the Ducks traded. That was the initial pick they got from the Flyers when they traded Chris Pronger there.
I'm stuck. I don't know.
Okay, let
Wait.
me just tell you.
Yeah.
Anton Strawman.
Oh my god.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
He was drafted in the 7th round, 216th overall in 2005, and he has played 938 games.
He's in Boston, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Maybe he's not at 1,000 yet. Oh, by the way, shout out Chris the Tank for playing 12 days after a stroke. And
Oh
apparently,
my
God.
and he had like 7 hits, which is
Yeah.
incredible. Good for him. So we can end the note.
Yeah. we could end on a better
So the number
note.
one Leafs prospect of 2000s was Anton Strawman.
Brett the Hitman Hart. Oh, okay.
Oh
All
my
right.
god.
All right. Well, guys, this was fun.
You want
We'll
an
see.
update from 4 minutes ago, real quick?
Okay.
U Sports is up to nothing.
I knew it. I called it.
Where'd you get that update from?
Scott Wheeler.
Oh, okay.
No, my inside sources. No, it's
I was gonna say, is Ben tweeting about it?
Scott Wheeler. Scott Wheeler.
Hey, if U Sports win, no, I'm not. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you whenever. Next time, probably Wednesday. Are we all gonna be here
Yes. I think so.
next Sunday?
Next Sunday we will all be here, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Unless you know.
Maybe you two.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you two.
Okay.
Like
I
YouTube
still have
Bono?
family coming over.
No.
No, what?
You say
No,
maybe
not Bono.
YouTube Bono?
I thought you said not Jennifer Bottrell. I'm like, no, Daniel, we don't have. I don't
know if
have
we
a
that
connection to get
contact.
Jennifer Bottrell on. I really like the dress she was wearing last night. But what? Like black and burgundy. Anyway. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
Bye.